She is the queen of pet of India's fashion scene and a byword for fashion in the whole country. Featured in Marie Claire's list of influencers of 2013, she is the promoter of India's largest fashion house and the creative director of brands like Global Desi and. Moving far beyond wedding wear, she has created over 300 stores across the country that offer both style and affordability. Today on Living Beyond Pink, I am proud to welcome Anita Dongre. Anita, welcome to this show.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, Anita, we'll begin with the way you started, and I know that you came from a very conservative family and they weren't happy that you wanted to work. So how did you work around that?
You know, I just think that the kind of traditional families women come from in India, today it has changed, at least in the metros. But otherwise, when a woman chose to step out of a home to work, if it was done for financial reasons, it was considered okay. I came from a fairly affluent family where my father provided for us very well. So when I chose to go out to work, he could not understand that. For him, it was like, you're being well looked after and what is your need to work? So it took me a few years to explain to them that my need to work and my need to design is far stronger, and it's the financial benefits are there. I mean, you know, but that's not the reason I am going out of the house to work, because I just have to fulfill a creative urge in me. So that took a few years for people around and the family to understand. And I think that's very important for people to understand that the woman sometimes just needs to go out to work because she has to explore that side of her personality or what she's driven to do. Yeah.
That's her calling.
That's her calling, yeah. I mean, even women can be driven sometimes to do...
A lot of times.
Yes.
Not just sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I think every woman needs to have something that she calls her own.
Correct.
So whether it's anything that she can make into a career or maybe even a hobby, something that's her own.
So how did they come around to your working, or did you have to rebel against them, or?
They are wonderful parents, and it just took a few years because, you know, everyone works on a certain conditioning. The social conditioning of that time was that the girls in our family do not work. So I just think it takes gentle persuasion and for them to realize how serious you are about your work, and then for them to see how good you are at your work.
Right. But you just have to keep on persevering.
Yes.
And you have persevered quite a bit, considering where you started from.
Yes.
And to come here, it's hugely creditable. You are in a space which is dominated by men. I mean, fashion labels, we hear about men, and here's this woman who comes and suddenly takes the front seat. So how did you manage to deal with that at that time?
No, I never found it unequal. I used to only be amused that as a woman, I was never taken seriously.
Right.
But in my mind...
you weren't taken seriously?
No, so many times I wasn't, because you see, being a woman and being a designer, one just thought that, you know, she's just a designer and she's doing this to fulfill her creative, creativity. So a woman fashion designer was just considered somebody who made a few clothes, but no one ever understood or even would have taken seriously that I had such a large vision, that I always, even when I was very young, always wanted this to have a huge fashion empire.
So as you were growing ahead, and you have a son now,
yes.
He's grown up now,
yes.
But there was a point when he was small and your business was also small, and a business is as good as a child. So how did you manage both your business and a small child?
I just think I was super fortunate, Sangeeta. I think in India, we women in that respect are truly blessed because we come from very close-knit families.
Yes.
My son was literally brought up by my mum and my mother-in-law.
I see.
They both pitched in beautifully. So I think coming from a very strong family that sticks together and family that helps you out is a huge advantage in India.
All these women who were looking after your son, Was there ever a thought in their mind that, there's this woman and she's busy with her work and she doesn't have time to look after her child?
No, I just think my mother and my mother-in-law, I'm blessed again to have two great women in my life. Somewhere I think deep down they understood and empathized with my dream completely. And I think they just allowed me to give sail to my wings and encouraged me to do what I was doing.
Sure enough. Now, of course, Anita Dongre is a household name for fashion. But you have this whole extended family and it's a conservative family. Do you provide any kind of inspiration to them on how women can achieve so much? How girls can really perform?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. My mom gives me so many stories about so many of the second cousins, third cousins, and we come from this big Indian family. And I know that my name is given as an example to them, and there are so many girls in the family today who have careers, who are doing really well for themselves. I was probably the first one, to break that taboo and take up a career. So, yeah, I feel happy, and I mean, it's not just about the girls in my family. I mean, I have this strong desire in me that I wish I could do something that every woman should have the opportunity to realize her dreams just the way I did. And this is something like I'd like to say to everybody, that sometimes you have to fight for it.
I know that you work for more than 10 hours a day, and Monday to Saturday you're at work. Sunday also you work but from home, and today we are at your home and you are doing this. What does work-life balance mean for you?
I think every woman has to look deep inside her and think that what is it really that's her work-life balance. You can't, again, have a set pattern for everyone.
Sure.
I know that me as a person, that I need a lot of me time. So I basically am very choosy about my time and what I do with it. I utilize my each and every hour very effectively. So whether it's me time, I make that me time, it's my work time, and it's my family time. And beyond that, if I feel that there are certain situations that I cannot deal with and cannot handle, then I just don't go there. So if it means sometimes just shutting myself off even from a month from going out anywhere socially, I will do that. But for me, in terms of importance, it's first me, my health, my family, and my work. I think those are, I mean, I know what my priorities are.
I'm very impressed that you said that me and my health is first, because by and large in India, women put their own health last.
I was exactly like that when my son was born. It wasn't about me, myself at all. And I completely let myself go. I don't think that's correct. And I think you have to first, you have to spend that energy and time on yourself.
If you are healthy, then everybody around you is...
Because if you are healthy and if you have spent time with yourself and you're happy, you're going to spread happiness around. If you're not happy, you're not going to spread happiness around. You're just going to make everyone else unhappy too.
Sure, of course. So I think that needs to be said.
Yeah.
People don't say it enough.
I discovered it a little later, but at least better late than never.
Excellent. Anita, you're so successful and financially independent. What does financial independence mean to you?
I'm going to answer this question on financial independence from two aspects of my life. One is my professional aspect, I think, firstly. As a designer, for me, financial independence means that every day when I go to my place of work, I should have the financial means to be able to create my next collection. Now, that also requires financial independence, because as designers, you dream of so many designs in your head. On a personal level, financial independence, I think I've been quite blessed. I come from a family that provided me everything, whether it was before my marriage, after my marriage. And I think personally, my needs are quite frugal, so I'm good. So for me, the financial empowerment has more meaning for me at work.
I wouldn't expect it, but you have a family to manage, and you have a household, and you have this whole business. How do you manage your household?
I realized quite a few years ago that I enjoy myself. I enjoy my work and I can't give my home that much time. So I just have always got very efficient staff at home. I ensure that there's very capable staff at home, and then I empower them to take decisions. You have to learn to let go. I mean, sometimes I don't agree with the way things are done, but you can't have it all, honestly.
So now let me ask you my trick question. Since you are this really very well-known person, now suppose your personal life, your married life was unhappy, and you have this public persona. Would you reveal your unhappiness, and do you think that would compromise on your public persona, or would you like to maintain the image that people have of you and swallow the unhappiness that you face at home?
I think the world has to understand is that that's what you do, that's your profession. At the end of the day, every woman is a woman at home, right? I mean, everyone is a mother, wife, daughter, sister, and that's a role she plays in her family. And then there's another role she does, which is a professional role. And these are two separate roles, and I don't see why one has to be judged or the other, because let's say if you're an actor or you're a designer or you're a painter or you're an artist, that's what you do and that's what you're good at, and that's your profession. And
sure.
What you are in your house is what you're in your house, and that's your personal life. So I don't see why the two should ever even, they're two separate issues. They're two separate facets of your life, let's say.
Anita, can you tell me what Beyond Pink means to you?
I think Beyond Pink for me, Sangeeta, for women would be just complete, total freedom for a woman to do whatever she likes to do, whatever makes her happy. She should have the freedom to do that. It could mean sitting at home and baking cakes the whole day. It could be just what makes her happy is looking after her family. It could mean go out and making a career. It could be climbing a mountain, flying a plane. Just do what makes you happy, and the woman should have the freedom and the ability to be able to do that. Yeah, that's complete total freedom for me is Beyond Pink.
Well, I hope that more and more people get that message. Thank you so much, Anita, for coming on this show, for coming on Living Beyond Pink and talking to us about your life and your views. And thank you.
Thank you. That's very important for people to understand that a woman sometimes just needs to go out to work, because every woman needs to have something that she calls her own. No one ever understood or even would have taken seriously that I had such a large vision, that I always, even when I was very young, always wanted this to have a huge fashion empire. And I know that my name is given as an example to them. I have this strong desire in me that I wish I could do something that every woman should have the opportunity to realize her dreams just the way I did. For me, in terms of importance, it's first me, my health, my family and my work. You have to learn to let go. I mean, sometimes I don't agree with the way things are done, but you can't have it all, honestly. Complete, total freedom for a woman to do whatever she likes to do, whatever makes her happy.